Hello, you guys. This is Josh Vision, and I'm here to give you my Season 1, Episode 2 review of The Magician. So, in this episode, you guys, we basically have a fallout of what happened during the last sequence of the previous episode, in which basically, due to Quentin, Alice, Penny, and I forgot the other girl's name. Is it like Casey, Katie? We'll just call her Miss K, for this review. Well, actually, let's call her K. Anyways, K, whatever. Basically, from the previous summons they were trying to get Alice's brother back from the dead or whatever type of dimension he's been lingering the past 5 years. Basically, a result of that connects to the whole thing with the Mothman that appeared towards the end of the episode, in which he has, I believe he killed their teacher. I believe he also like gorged out the dean's eyes and did something with his hands or something, took his hands or some shit like that. So the first 5 minutes of this episode, we have basically each student, but mainly Penny and Alice, Quentin, and Kay, basically having flashbacks of what happened within like that 20-minute span or so. We have Kay basically doing some type of dark spell where she was chastised by the lady, and I believe the lady was Professor Sutherland or something like that, and she's the one who's basically trying to find out, what happened, with the whole thing with the Mothman and all that. So we have Penny doing some things as well, using some spells. We have Alice, I believe, saving Quentin at the last possible moment, and Quentin doing something. I forgot what he did. I think the dean actually gave him some type of pocket watch, which allowed Quentin to reverse whatever the Mothman was trying to do to him, and basically sending the Mothman back into the mirror. So, besides that, we have Julia basically making her way into her little own version of the Breakbills University, except she's in this trashy building, and it's a very small class, and she finds herself stuck basically in a meat locker with the new student who she met, and they have to figure out a way to get out of this meat locker unless they freeze to death. So while that's going on, we have Quentin and Penny and Kay and Alice basically paranoid and scared as crap for what happened, which was basically all their fault, and trying to figure out if Professor Sutherland is going to find out they were the ones responsible, or which one she believes is going to take the majority, of the blame. So we have Quentin and Alice go back to, I believe, Quentin's main dorm or something, and we have Margot and the other guy, basically take Quentin and Alice separately. So we have Margot speak with Alice about her family and how did Margot even get to Breaksfield, University without taking the exam. And I believe Alice said to her that since her family were alumni, whatever, that her family gave her some type of keys or something to get in, blah blah blah. And Margot wasn't buying it. She was like, "Nah, like we have a spell to prevent crap like that. So how'd you really get in?" So on and so forth. But Alice was like, "You know what? I had enough." She gave her, what was left of the wine, and kept it moving. And Quentin and the guy had a really deep conversation. And Quentin was talking about how before he even came to the university, he felt life was pointless, and he went to the hospital, for his mental health, and so on and so forth. And the guy reveals to Quentin how he became, a part of the university, or at least how he discovered his magical powers, and that was through pain, essentially, and being bullied by this guy. So he was always bullied by this individual. So one day he saw a bus coming, and he saw the guy crossing the street. So his thought was, he wanted the dude to get ran over, but he didn't realize he had telekinesis. So the guy died. So that's how he found out, obviously. So he mentions to Quentin that some people, when they're magicians, they think this is a talent. No, magic comes from pain. So after this, we have Penny and Kay basically making their way out of their latest class, and Penny saying to Kay that he's about to leave. He's done with this. He don't want to get caught up, with the drama. And he talked about being basically tortured with the Beast, And if I remember correctly, the Beast is this entity which has been mentioned numerous times in the previous episode about how people were talking about how dangerous it is, and how it's very important that Quentin and the others, prepare themselves for this beast. But Penny talks about how the beast has been basically like controlling his thoughts and all that stuff, or at least been in his mind ever since he was a child, and sort of teaching him or let him know about his powers, his magician powers, so on and so forth. But Kay convinces Penny, to stay, essentially. So we have Alice and Quentin talk about what happened in the library. And Quentin was basically saying that he feels all the dreams he's had when it comes to Fillory are actually like true, because they felt like so real. And the last 2 meetings he had with the Jane character from the books, and I believe he actually shows Alice, a video of the whole thing of the author making the book and the events it was based on, about those 3, teenagers who basically left, basically by going through a clock, so on and so forth. So while they're going through this, they meet up with Penny and Kay, and Professor Sutherland catches all 4 of them. So basically, it's like one by one, going to the office, trying to get to the bottom of this. So Penny snitches, I believe, on Quentin. So Quentin takes basically the blame. He basically blames everything on Quentin, essentially. So Quentin obviously is frustrated and pissed off. So he tries to start a fight with Penny. That was a bad idea. But Penny has some type of enchantment or something that prevented like a powerful, like magical thing that Quentin did unintentional. It was like Quentin just did it without thinking, whatever. But Quentin got injured, in the process. And so did Penny, but not nearly as much as Quentin. So they're in like the doctor's office, essentially. And Penny mentions the fact that what Quentin did was a battle, was like a battlefield kind of magic or something along those lines. And that a magician always has to have a protective charm, on him or her. So he brings out this emerald like necklace or sort of like stone, and Quentin decides to take it while Penny's sleeping, so that way when he has it, he won't have his mind or something like wiped by the specialist who he's supposed to see. So he goes into the office, and there's this big thing with him and the specialist. The specialist says that that she does consider him smart but not a genius, and that his skills are slightly above average, but she doesn't really know why the beast wants him so much. She also goes on to talk about how, do you believe in destiny? And he was like, yeah. And she was like, well, it's a bunch of crap. She also talks about how like him and her basically have the same dreams, which I found very interesting, and how, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who or why the beast wants like anything to do with you, but you're going to have to accept the fact that you're going to have to get stronger if you want your friends, to save as much of your friends as possible, because you're going to lose some of your friends. You got to be able to deal with that. We got to be able to deal with that. So while she's talking, she also mentions the fact that she found it very hilarious how he thought he could be slick and didn't think she would notice that he had an emerald, stone on him. And he was shocked and scared. She's like, it's all right. It's all good. You know what? I'll forgive you. Let's just start this over. You don't get into any more trouble, or I will make sure your memory is permanently like gone, for the basically for the best, of you, so on and so forth. So also in this episode, we have, like I mentioned before, with Julia in the meat locker. Julia and the girl is able to escape the meat locker, but we find out that that particular girl is actually a woman, and that she's a level 50 in terms of like the magician arts, and that she's basically like equal to the guy that Julia met the other night, and even brought Julia like to the place to begin with. So she seems kind of shady, to be honest with you, especially near the end of the episode, in which we had her and the guy waiting for Kay to bring her some type of magical book. But Kay only gave her like the third best book she could get, and she promised to get the book that she wanted, So that woman seems kind of shady and evil, in my opinion. But yeah, is there anything else? I believe, you guys, that's all that happened in this episode. If I missed anything, please write some comments down below, in the comment section. So yeah, this is Josh Vision. Adios.